Today I'm heading out to the Lost Horse Mine Trail in Joshua Tree National Park. It's considered a moderate hike, but it's pretty much uphill all the way there. My Amazfit watch provided the following info. The hike is approximately 2 miles one way if you go just to the mine and mill, with about 700 feet of elevation gain. Start by taking the trail to the left, and right at the start you will see a rough uphill trail. Get used to it because the rest of the trail is pretty much like this all the way there. Yep, still uphill. More uphill, but now with deep washed-out ruts. The trail does even out in small sections along the way, but not for long. This is a view looking back in the direction I just came from. Told you, more uphill. The trail is well defined all the way close to the mill, then it gets a little confused. There weren't too many Joshua trees along this trail, but there was this nice looking specimen right next to the trail. There was mainly chaparral on either side and some yucca plants. Also saw these two really healthy looking specimens of cholla cactus plants alongside the trail. Remember, look but don't touch. The Lost Horse Mine was operated from 1894 to 1931 and produced over 10,000 ounces of gold and 16,000 ounces of silver. This view shows the distant Queen Valley off to the left side of the trail. This is my first glimpse of the Lost Horse Mine, showing the mill. I'm still about half a mile away. There you can see the zigzagging trail leading to the mill. Here you can see some tailings from the old mining operations. Tailings are waste rocks that have been crushed and determined not to contain any recoverable ore. Close to the trail, I saw this part of an old axle. You can see the tapered wheel hub and steering linkage. When you reach this sign, take the trail to the left to get to the mill site. There's more uphill to come. In the foreground you can see a large clump of hardened mud. This is most likely cyanide-laced mud used in the gold extraction process. By suspending the crushed ore in an aqueous cyanide solution, up to 96% of pure gold could be recovered. On top of the hill you can see two round corrugated steel tanks. These were most likely used for soaking the ore to separate the gold. This trail to the left leads to the mill site. Here's a closer look at the mounds of mud. This mill is considered a 10-stamp mill because there are 10 hammers used to crush the ore into smaller pieces for easier gold extraction. The hammers were driven by steam. Miners cut down local trees to provide wood for the furnace that generated the steam, hence you don't see many trees around this area. This mill was originally located near the Colorado River. J.D. Ryan, who was a wealthy financier from Montana, had the mill dismantled and bought to this location and reassembled. The mill ran 24 hours a day crushing rocks for ore extraction. This is a stone and earthen reservoir, which held water for steam generation to operate the mill. These are the pulley wheels that were driven by the steam engine to operate the 10 stamps used to crush the ore-bearing rocks. In 1905, there was a 3-cylinder high-pressure Gould pump directly connected to a 25-horsepower gasoline engine, which replaced the steam apparatus to drive the stamps. This is all that remains of the original engine. This is most likely the 25-horsepower engine that was connected to the 3-cylinder steam engine. Unfortunately, exact historical references to the equipment are not clear. This giant flywheel was directly connected to the cams that drove the stamps. The flywheel lifted up the cams and then let them drop onto the rocks below to crush them. The weight of each stamp was about 850 pounds. There you can see the cams and the collars on each stamp rod. The cams lifted each collar and thereby the stamp and then let it fall. The weight and the force of the falling stamp crushed the rocks that were fed below. There you can see the chute and the hopper used to funnel rocks under the stamps for crushing. Here's a close-up of the main flywheel that drives the cams. These concrete footings are for an office and the cookhouse. On the way back, I noticed that this area bears the signs of a fire as many of the tree trunks were charred. These stone walls are the remnants of a cabin occupied by a miner known as James. They are located in a ravine off the main trail. James worked at the Lost Horse mine, but on his off time he would go out and prospect himself. He hit a gold vein near the Desert Queen mine, but greedy local miners murdered him and took over his claim. I'm headed home now. Thanks for joining me.